My name is Ellenor Morrissey, and my final year project title is an investigation of consumer distrust in technology. The main reason I chose to research this subject area is due to the scale of data breaches that have been occurring in recent years. Data breaches are happening a lot more often now, and the number of people they are affecting is larger than ever. This study attempts to look at some of the biggest data breaches to date and the effects it has had on both consumers and the companies responsible for them. From reading the study, you will see that it is evident that as a society we are facing a security epidemic with our personal data online. When we share our data with a company, do we really know how they are using it or what they are doing with it? Yes, GDPR has been updated to ensure companies are compliant with regulations regarding consumer data. Has this affected how safe consumers feel when sharing their personal data with companies? When conducting my own research for the study, I asked consumers this question, and over 60% of the survey participants said they do not feel safer when sharing their data online and with companies. This shows the level of distrust consumers have with companies and their technologies, as you could perceive this statistic as consumers do not trust them to follow regulations properly. As you probably know already, Facebook has been under fire recently due to the multiple data breaches they have experienced and the exploitation of consumers' data during the Cambridge Analytica scandal. Facebook is an extreme example of a company that has not put the security of its users first, and the number of people it has affected worldwide because of this is quite frightening. This study has established that the internet is not a safe place. Consumers are becoming more aware of the dangers of sharing so much online and allowing companies to have so much access to their personal data. As we evolve as a society, so too do the dangers surrounding us. Although hacking is not a new danger to society, it is most definitely happening now more than ever. Organizations have to defend their networks from all types of attacks, and as technology improves and evolves, so too will the skills of hackers. It is a constant battle to just be one step ahead of the attackers, and it'll always be this way. This means that companies will need to put more resources into the security of their customers' data. Building trust in a digital world is challenging, and trust is something that needs to be earned, not just by saying the right things, but more importantly, by actions. We now have a whole new world of technology when it comes to our household devices, as the introduction of Internet of Things devices means we must defend ourselves in a completely new way at home. We hear stories now about how people's microwaves and fridges have been accessed by unauthorized users, and this brings a different type of danger into our lives. The problem with IoT devices is ordinary people do not know the dangers that they can possibly face with these devices. They set up their devices with default settings and passwords simply because it is easier, and little do they know how easy they are making it for hackers to access their home network. Although it is crucial that companies are ensuring consumers' data is protected, consumers still need to do more to protect themselves. From my own research, I found that consumers were not using some of the simplest forms of security online. Only 21% of survey participants stated that they use different passwords for different websites in order to protect themselves. This is not surprising, as we naturally want to minimize the number of passwords we have to remember, but it is something that needs to be implemented by people. Consumers need to be smart about how they share their personal data and who they share it with. Society can do more to protect themselves on the internet, and it is time that they start implementing changes now. The findings from this study certainly show that brand trust is an essential factor for consumers when shopping online. Consumers are more aware of the dangers of sharing their personal data. Trust has become the key to gain consumer access, and we now know that many brands are failing the trust test. To ensure that growth and opportunity continue, we need a digital world that consumers can trust. Thank you for listening.